Let's touch upon the X Factor. So you was 19.
Misha B.
Going into it, what was the expectation and what was the reality?
I didn't think I was going to get through. I was at a music college at the time. I don't think I ever thought that was going to go all the way. But I just had that sense of belief that I was always going to give it 100%.
Who you thought was your parent weren't your parents. Would you just tell us about that experience and how that was going through that?
Growing up in care, I don't think I thoroughly understood where my social worker sat me down and was like, whilst you've been calling this person mum, she's actually your auntie. Such a tender age, 10 years old, you're about to go into high school. At the time, I really believed that my whole life was a lie.
So X Factor finishes. What happens next?
So I pack up my bags from Manchester and I move to London, get signed to Relentless Records, which is a music label in Sony. Got my first UK top 10 with them. Then pot started to dry up. They were like, look, are you free to go? Yeah.
How did you feel at that point?
Oh, it was devastating. But age 33 today, I think it was the best thing for me.
Like a mental health standpoint?
Yeah.
Where did that leave you?
It got to a point where
Misha, welcome to the show.
It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm genuinely really excited to have this chat. I know there's a lot that we can go into. I know there's a lot of amazing things that you're doing right now. This show is the Success School podcast. So I'm interested in, prior to X Factor, because obviously a lot of people will know you from X Factor and your journey there. If you take us back to sort of like 9-10-year-old Misha, first question, what was success for you then? What was your definition and your idea of what success looked like?
Back then, I think my idea of success was defined by what I'd achieved or what I was going to achieve.
Okay.
But now
It's different.
Completely different.
So going back there where you say like what you was going to achieve, what did that look like? Because I guess for a lot of us when we were children, and so my background's kind of performing arts and stuff like that, the dream would have been the X Factor. Like that is success. Was that what you thought when you were sort of like 9-10-year-old?
Not necessarily. I don't think I always thought that X Factor was going to be a platform that catapulted. But my goal and the saying I went by was, I aspire to inspire through the power of music. So that's what I had from a very young age.
Where did that come from?
I think I had such a deep connection to music and how it moved me and how it made me feel seen and heard that I also then knew there was a way to inspire and impact other people through word, sound and power, in that being the thing that I wanted to contribute to the world.
So I know that when you was quite young, you obviously, if you're happy to speak about it, that you found out that who you thought was your parents weren't your parents. Would you just tell us about that experience and how that was going through that?
Yeah, so I was about 10 when I found out. I think so I was a foster child. In growing up in care, I don't think I thoroughly understood until I got to the age of 10 where my social worker sat me down and was like, whilst you've been calling this person mum, she's actually your auntie. And at the time, it knocked me for six. I think such a tender age, 10 years old, you're about to go into high school. And at the time, I really believed that my whole life was a lie. Because it's like, well, this person's my mum. She's the only person that I've seen as my mum, But I think the following years, I got to grasp my own idea of what that actually was. That while some people may carry a child, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to mother a child. And it was a lot at that age. And that, I guess this is where I found music. I started writing poetry aged 8/9. And that was my way of finding solace through the chaotic emotions and finding my way and finding a way to express what I was feeling. Because you can imagine it was very complex at the time. But it was, my poetry book was the place that I could just disappear to, where the words helped me make sense of life.
So that was like your therapy.
Yeah, that's where it began.
And that process, you know, you said there about you understand now that just because you mother a child, it doesn't mean that, you know, you're actually going to be the mother to that child.
Yeah.
How was that at that point, though? Because presumably that took a while to get to a place of seeing it like that. Like, how did you feel and think about it in those early years?
I think because my auntie who fostered me was present, the most present mother, I didn't really see it as complete absence.
Right.
And it wasn't until I entered adulthood where I was forced to look into what I was really feeling. I was forced to face myself, and this came through therapy. And I think it's the beautiful thing of therapy. It's like a mirror being held up to yourself. Your wounds, your thoughts, your most inner, most vulnerable feelings and, you know, outlooks. And it wasn't until then that I had to do that inner work.
What
And
came out of that? Like, what were those emotions when you started doing that work?
just navigating that mother wound. You know, I think for children in care, we are navigating abandonment. We're navigating rejection. We're navigating an array of different emotions. And I even, you know, I'd be lying to you if I said I'm not still navigating them. You know, I'm 33 years old now, and I'm still navigating and still mothering myself.
Wow.
You know, my inner child is very much everything that I've poured back into myself. And because I've had no choice. In order for people to, well, I believe anyway, in order for me to have a real shot at life, I had to take that time and nurture my inner child, affirm her. This is why affirmations mean so much to me, because again, for a foster child or even adopted children, we're navigating a completely different world where the ideal family situation just isn't. And we then have to, because you can go two different ways.
Right.
You can self-destruct, and you know, it's so easy to do that.
Did you ever go that way?
No.
Never.
You know why I didn't know? Because I had music.
Wow.
And I had poetry. And I had these things that they were like the things that saved me.
Wow.
They gave me a new lease of life. They gave me a voice. They helped me find my voice. And even through the chaotic times of a teenager navigating the world and then X Factor, this is why I've always returned back to those things. I almost feel like they were my parents.
Wow, that's powerful. And I'm just thinking about, you know, in particular rejection that you spoke about there, because I feel like most people generally fear rejection. I don't know, it's like a tribal thing in it to be, you know, not left out of the crowd and things like that. And we want to be loved, we want to be accepted. And I'm also thinking a lot of people that listen to this show, you know, they're business owners, and that idea of like when they're selling, a lot of people struggle with sales because oh, it's getting lots of no's and rejection. And it feels very personal.
Yeah.
But then hearing you talk about your story there, I imagine that's this feeling of rejection on a different level, right? Is that thing of like when it's your parents, I don't know, I assume like unanswered questions of why, like how have you come to terms with that? And you said it's still something that's ongoing. How are you with rejection today?
I always see rejection, and I think I have since I was little, rejection as redirection. And knowing that the Most High, God, whatever people refer to the source of life as, is always guiding me,
Right.
protecting me, keeping me. And that whilst this person or this situation may reject me, there's always love somewhere else. And I think this has led to me having to do that inner work and learning to love myself and knowing that I am enough, even if I don't feel like I'm loved by this person or I'm not cherished by this. But I love myself. I accept myself, flaws and all. I'm not perfect, far from perfect, but I am trying every day.
Sure.
And I think it's that self-love, but also knowing that there's purpose for my life.
That self-love, I think a lot of people struggle to ever really feel it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like some people that I've worked with, they'll say, well, I didn't used to like myself. I like myself now, but I wouldn't say I love myself now. So just sort of speaking to them in terms of that inner work that you've done, that process, is there anything you could share in terms of how you have been able to get to a place where it's not just, okay, I'm at peace with who I am, but I actually love myself?
I'd say love yourself on the not so good days. Love yourself when your hair is not cooperating, because that's the real test. That's
Really
the
pisses
real
me off.
right.
It's this bit here.
Right. And you can never get it down.
Yeah.
But love yourself through those moments. Hold yourself through those moments. I'm not 100% every single day. I'd be lying if I was, on the days where I do struggle to look in the mirror and be like, oh, I love you. I've had to force myself to love myself.
Yeah.
Love myself in discomfort. Love myself in sadness. Love myself in grief. But more so honour the timing of everything, the process. Because life really just is a process. Self-love is a process. You're never just going to be there straight away.
Right.
It's about sitting with the shadows. And shadow work's a major part of it. Shadow work is sitting and not rejecting yourself, the parts. So, like I was expressing before about me navigating and learning to navigate the mother wound, and still me learning to navigate it now. It's actually sitting with myself, okay, how did that make you feel? Not like, oh, I'm fine and graze over it. How did it really make you feel? Okay. And if tears come, allow them to come. And if they come some more, allow them to come until you can get to the real root. Accept, feel it, but make sure you release it.
Right.
And I think that's the trick.
I love that. And it's all about strengthening that self-awareness, right? Really understanding yourself much better. And I also like what you're saying there. I guess it's about compassion, right? So even when we're not perfect or whatever, it's about having compassion. And I resonate with, I think there's certain things I'll do or I'll act a certain way, and the old version of me would just be like, oh, you're such an idiot or whatever. Whereas now I'll laugh at myself and go, here we go again, or little quirks. And I think it's that stuff, innit? It's finding fun in just owning who you are.
Yes,
right?
that is it. Finding fun in owning who you are. The other day I said to one of my closest friends, just don't take yourself too serious.
Yeah.
And I think it's remaining childlike that allows us to kind of just breeze through life. Trying to be too grown up. Listen, first of all, I have to say this. They played us. They made out like growing up, was it? Yeah, we've been lied to. We have. I think being a child, remaining childlike in everything that you do is the key. Adulthood isn't all it was cooked up to be.
I agree. And I think it reminds me of a phrase I heard another guest speak about recently, which is every day you just get to roll the dice. And what they were meaning is every day is just a game.
Yeah.
And we get to just play a game. And I think it speaks well to what you're saying, of just like have fun, even through the tough times. Like if you can find the fun and the childlike nature that you're referring to, that's where, it doesn't mean things are going to be perfect. It doesn't mean there isn't still going to be tough times, but generally you can move through it quicker.
Absolutely. Look, like what I mentioned, Tracy Beaker. Tracy Beaker was my hero, Shero, growing up as a child for so many different reasons. And even still now, whenever I think about it, I smile inside, because having that example, the dumping ground, that was just a foster home, a care home. And the way it was written was to amplify the importance of your imagination. Tracy Beaker often spoke about, my mum's this and she's this movie star, and, all children, we have that childlike imagination where it's limitless, and we always imagine like this infinite universe, and she really did that, and it made me do that as well. And the reason why I love her is because it's important to keep doing that.
Yeah. Because we lose that as adults if we're not, and we put limitations. Life happens, we have these experiences, and then we go, oh, life's unfair, or life's shit, or whatever. And before you know it, you've just got this really like tunnel vision, limited view of what's possible.
Yeah.
As kids, we don't, right? No. We believe that like there's all the potential in the world.
Yep. And that's it. I think we all just have to remember that and not lose that.
Oh, I love this. I'm getting all fired up now. Right. Let's touch upon the X Factor. So you was 19. I think as teenagers, we think we're so much older than we actually are, right? I'm sure at 19 then you felt you was older. But when you look back now, do you feel like, wow, I really was so young, really?
I was a baby.
To be put on like a huge stage like that, it's going into it.
Yeah.
What was the expectation and what was the reality?
Going into it, was there expectations? I didn't think I was going to get through.
Wow.
Let's
your
start there.
voice?
I really didn't, because a bit backstory. I was at a music college at the time, and me and my course mates, we were like money and hour about going for the auditions, because you go to a music college, it's kind of frowned upon.
Yeah.
Because it seems like it's like a fast track.
Like a cheat.
Yeah, cheat way.
Yeah.
And so we all frowned upon it, honestly and truly.
That's hilarious.
Right.
You became
and
a
that's
semi-finalist.
Right. But we went for it, and we all just said, you know what, let's go for the experience. So I'd gone there being prepared, because I was studying at the college, the music college. I'm a teacher, shout out to Leanne Brown, amazing. Went there, went through, a couple of us got through the first round, and I was like, right, okay, yay guys, teamwork. Next round, a few of us get through that round, so people have started dropping off.
And just to be clear, this is before the televised stuff. This is like producers and stuff.
Yeah. So, there's loads of rounds before that.
Yeah. And
then it starts to get to the place where it's just me. And I'm like, oh. And that's when you really realise, this could actually happen.
And what did you think then?
I don't think I ever thought that was going to go all the way.
Right.
But I just had that sense of belief that I was always going to give it 100%. I was always going to give it everything that I had. And I think that very thing is the reason why I was able to get as far as I did. So expectations, I didn't expect all of the rounds at all. I didn't expect so many people, the production team. My first example or experience in TV, primetime TV at that.
I mean, it was huge back then.
It was. I remember even before I went on it, how excited I was every weekend to come and sit down and watch. So
everybody, do you know how many million people were watching it?
I don't remember. I remember it was maybe like 2 point something.
A night live.
Yeah.
Was your show before One Direction?
We were the year after One Day.
So the year before One Direction happened. Now you're on the same show.
Yeah, that was crazy. Love One Day. Yeah, it was surreal. I think you don't realise, because you're in it, that you don't realise because you're in it how many people are watching it until you actually go out on the streets.
Okay.
And you're like, oh,
people know me.
You literally, because you go from One Day being known by like your community to then being like known by literally everyone. And I really got a lot of love, and a lot of love which was very overwhelming, because you're like, oh my gosh, like, is this, it's a lot to go from not having people run up to you to having people swarm you. And although I received love every time, it still was a lot.
I think it's hard for anyone to comprehend. Yeah. I think we all just get into this habit. We just watch TV, and it's just like we disassociate from it. It's just those people on telly, but we forget they're real people. Yeah. And I also think that We have this expectation in our mind when we're watching it that it's like, oh, they'll have had loads of time to prepare and they'll have been thinking about this for ages. It's like, so I did a reality TV show last year. Well, we filmed it the year before.
Yeah.
And it was just lastminute.com. They were at the end of casting. Wow. I got a DM on Instagram and it was like, within a few weeks, we've started filming. And it's like, in my head, I was like, if I'd be on a TV show, I'd have weeks to get into the best shape of my life. I'd be preparing what I'm going to say. And it just wasn't. Just overnight, your life's different and you're now doing this thing. And I think people don't appreciate that experience. Was it all a bit of a whirlwind for you?
Absolutely. I think that is the word whirlwind, because so much is expected of you. And it's a very much you snooze, you lose.
Yeah.
If you're not on the pulse, if you're not moving fast, you get left behind in preparation for your performances. We had an amazing styling crew. Shout out to Laurie Smith and Ricky. Still love those ladies. We had amazing styling team. We had makeup artists. Shout out to Pauline Briscoe. We had an amazing set of producers. Were they producers? No, runners that kind of like tended to us and made sure we were where we needed to be, but also listened to us and sat with us. And it was such a wonderful experience. I'm gonna say that. However, it had its flip side. And I think being so young, there were so many things I was learning at such a high speed. You're learning to learn songs really fast, which was one of my strengths.
I remember Gary Barlow saying that about how he sees you in the corridor with the headphones on, like other people are just chilling, on the phone, chatting. I get that there was a real sense of work ethic with you.
Absolutely. I didn't play when it came to music. I didn't at all.
But that's because you were in it for the music.
Yeah.
I guess other people are there for the limelight and the fame. I don't get that from you.
Never been, to be honest. I think because I had my aspirations before I went on the show, again, being at a music college, I had my idea of what my life was going to look like as a musician.
What was that?
Just being an international recording artist.
Yeah.
In making music that just empowered the world, like just was light everywhere. That has always been my number one goal and focus. And so it's
about empowering others and impacting others, right?
And uplifting people. Yeah. It's always been about that. And so, again, my Dre beats, it's funny you say that because I've actually looked at a picture of it the other day of me with my Dre beats. But that was me. I had my little iPad, had my Dre beats, and I was in my zone. And that's all I was focused on, because a lot of people don't understand. I get anxious quite a lot. And I think, especially when you're about to perform, you need them moments to kind of just zone in, get your mind ready, prepare for what you're about to give. Because I think a lot of people don't understand with music, the Most High is giving you this gift, right? And it's now given to you to gift to other people.
Right.
And so you have to keep the channel clear. And in order to keep the channel clear, meditation's important. And I think in those moments where I did have my headphones on, that was me meditating.
Is it something you still do regular meditation?
I'd say in its own different ways.
Okay.
So for me, meditation doesn't necessarily look like me just being sat in stillness. Meditation for me is me sorting out my bouquet of flowers. Meditation for me is music on, or meditative sounds on, and me doing things in the house. Meditation for me is, me listening to some Beyonce and with my weighted hula hoop in the living room.
It's like self-care, right?
Exactly.
It's taking time for you.
Yeah. And meditation for me is me listening to some jazz and painting.
Nice.
Yeah.
This episode is sponsored by Laura Robson and Back Pocket Office. Now, let me tell you about this one. Laura is somebody you need in your life. I have got her in my life, and all I can say about her is I don't know how I'd live without her. And it's true. If you're anything like me, you will hate tech. You'll be great at launching and creating the marketing material and delivering on the actual product that you're selling. But when it comes to the back end, making sure it's all automated and it all works. I just can't be bothered. And if you're the same, Laura is the solution. Laura is a systems strategist and she's also a certified launch and funnel specialist. And if you are a service provider, if you're a coach, consultant, any kind of online business that provides some kind of online service, then Laura is there to help sort out all your funnels and systems for you. With over 14 years experience, she's somebody who's going to get you solutions quick. She's easy to speak to, very approachable, and just really friendly and nice, basically. So if you are ready to get your systems and your funnels all sorted for you and work with one of the best in the business, go check out backpocketoffice.co.uk and connect with Laura on socials. The links are literally right below this episode in the show notes. Go click it, and I mean this. Go and do it now. You will not regret it. You said there about, you do sometimes get anxious. What about that scale of performing to millions live? Live. I mean, that's just, yeah. Was there ever a time where you found it overwhelming and didn't want to go on? Like, how was that experience? And being judged as well by the nation.
Yeah, that was crazy. I wouldn't say there was ever a time there was a time where I didn't want to go on. But did I have a choice? No, because I knew that what I was doing was bigger than my emotions at the time. Wow. And so I was able to separate, okay, this is how you're emotionally being driven right now. But after all of this, you're going to thank your head that your heart didn't make you not do what you were supposed to do. So I've always been pretty good with navigating that.
That's some great wisdom to impart on yourself at 19.
I really just put it down to, again, going back to that knowing. I know that I knew I was I'm here for a reason. Back then I knew I was here for a reason, and everything that I was navigating was for that end thing that to empower other people. It's bigger than you. I think sometimes we think because we're the face of something that it's just all about me and I'm just here to fulfill what I want to fulfill. And I think that's pretty selfish. And so I've always known, like, right, okay, feel what you're feeling, but just park it to the side and go back to it if you need to. But you've got a mission to get on with here.
As I say, a lot of people that listen to this show are people that are starting online businesses and things like that, and they may be doing personal branding. Yeah. And a lot of them, because exactly as you said there, they're the face of the brand. Yeah. They feel it so personally. And when they feel like, oh, I'm being judged, or they get negative feedback or something like that, they take it so personal. And I always try and say, like, imagine there's 300 people working in your business. Yeah. And you've just got, your job is to just be the face of it. But it's not actually like you. It's there's a mission, there's a purpose. Yeah. It's just you're the face of it, and that's your job. And it helps them just reframe it and think slightly differently. And it's almost like that's what you were doing, is you don't make it about you. I always say, don't make it about yourself, make it about service. Yeah. And that's exactly what you're saying. You like that one? You can have it. Yeah, you can have it.
I love it.
It's on camera. They know it's come from me. I'm joking. But I think that's such a great way to be able to look at it, is to not make it about us. Make it about the mission. So X Factor finishes. Yeah. What happens next? What is life like beyond the X Factor?
So I pack up my bags from Manchester and I move to London, and I get signed to Relentless Records, which is a music label in Sony. So it was one of the smaller underground labels in Sony. And when you sign on X Factor, Sony get first dibs. So any record labels under Sony, RCA, Relentless Records, Psycho, they get first dibs. And you kind of shop around to the ones that are interested in you. Then you sit and meet the A&Rs and figure out what is aligning here, what feels right. And for me, Relentless felt right, because on their label, there were more people that looked like me. Okay. And more people that were making this type of music that I went on to make. And also I just felt what the A&R was saying to me felt real. So I signed with them, and I was only supposed to sign with them for one single, but I ended up staying with them for a few. I got my first UK top 10 with them, which at the time, I think because life was happening so fast, I didn't really take it in. When now look back, you're like, wow, you got UK top 10, be proud, girl. And then the pot started to dry up, because remember, I was only supposed to have one single deal with them. And I went and met with the A&R and the label. They were like, look, the pot's getting a bit dry, and we don't really want to just put you on the shelf and have you sat here, so you're free to go.
Wow.
Yeah. I know. I think at the time it was very much like, wow, exactly that though.
Okay.
Like, is this it?
Yeah.
But age 33 today, I think it was the best thing for me. I wasn't abused. I wasn't used and abused.
Because we hear a lot of horror stories,
Yeah,
don't we,
yeah.
about the music industry and what can happen.
Being held for ransom. It wasn't any of that. It was, I tried one record with them and it did exceptionally well. It was loved and still is loved today. Then we went a different route, which was more like a dance route, and that one did exceptionally well. The third one, they rushed to put out, and that wasn't even supposed to be a single. And I believe that that's where the disconnect happened.
Okay.
And from there, yeah, it just wasn't no more. I don't hold any ill feeling. I think at the time, 19, 20, 21, you're not thinking that it's ever going to end. But also you're not really thinking that it's a journey. You're just thinking, right, okay, so I've got my record label team, I've got my team, and this is how it's going to go. It's going to continue like this. And then it doesn't, and you're like, oh. And it literally felt okay. That felt okay. But then I met with my manager, who at the time was representing a really big management who looked after 1D, Leona, and a few other X Factor artists. And they were like, well, and are in that, because they don't really look after unsigned acts. So then that's where the blows came.
Yeah.
That's where the real, like, oh. So that, because that was the safety net. The record label felt like the safety net. Then once that got lifted, management then, they moved out. And then I was just out here floating on my own.
How did you feel at that point?
Oh, it was devastating. It was devastating. It was devastating for so many reasons, because I just felt betrayed. A sense of betrayal came more so from management, because I wasn't prepared for that. However, my manager and me at the time had previous conversations that, about me walking away from the record label as, the money's dried up, or, the situation's not really working anymore. So I always felt that comfort of having the safety net of management. So young and not really understanding things to a certain level, understanding it's a business. And if the units are not uniting,
Right.
people have got to go and reassess and go where the units are uniting.
But it don't feel like that at the time,
no,
right?
It doesn't.
So from like a mental health standpoint, where did that leave you?
I don't think it hit me straight away.
Okay.
And I think it's because I just kept going.
And
I
just
think
that resilience and determination.
Yeah.
What's next? What are we doing? Like
exactly.
solutions focused, right?
But that's naturally who I am.
I get that from you, yeah.
I'm naturally positive. I'm always like, right, optimistic, right, what we're going to do. Even in my personal life, I've always been that way. I'm never someone that just lays down and stays down. And so I was like, right, okay, what's next? Okay. I continued. Obviously, I was still getting bookings. I still had my tour manager. I still had my setup with my backing vocalist, my DJ. I was like, right, okay. Well, can't stop the show. That was
just keep going.
Yeah, got to keep going. And I think it got to a point where like things started drying up, and the gigs just started becoming lesser and lesser. And that's something that not a lot of artists talk about. There comes a time where there's a little bit of drought, and this is when you've really got to go back to your drawing board and be like, right, okay, the things that I once was able to do, I'm not able to do them right now. That's not to say I can never do them again, but understand the season that you're in. My grandma's always said, always hang your hat where you can reach it. And that basically means to live within your means. And I never really got it until I had to learn to live within my means. And I'd say things dried up. I had to make some decisions to reduce my living circumstances and swallow my pride.
Right.
Because when so many people look into you for answers to have their backs because you've had this level of success, of how they deem success, you never really want to appear to let them down. And I realized that by not being true to myself, I was letting myself down. And it came to a time where I had to be cruel to be kind to myself, to just say to everybody, look, I've just got to focus on me right now. Whilst my situation was changing, downsizing, in, navigating the huge changes. It took a lot. It took a lot out of me. I feel like I ended up maybe ignoring it for a minute until I couldn't ignore it anymore.
Right.
And then I started getting therapy. And to be honest, I got therapy straight after X Factor because of the things that I endured on X Factor. And so therapy wasn't rare to me. I was never afraid of it. I knew the importance of it and how necessary it was. So I went and got therapy after that. And, I navigated the feelings of expectations, again, defining what success meant to me.
Right.
And what's interesting, it's gone now, but I have a tattoo here and I have a smiley face on my wedding finger, and it's more so to do with me always striving for peace and happiness. And so again, to answer, in the beginning, you asked me, like, what did I define success as at an early age? Success to me now is peace.
I'm so with you on that.
Oh, my goodness.
I think when you've had, and especially both your internal and external world is chaos.
Yeah.
Actually, success is just being at peace. And that ties into loving yourself, all that stuff.
Exactly.
And you've got that tattooed there.
Yeah, I've got the smiley face here.
Nice.
But more so I've got the peace sign on this side.
Yeah.
And I think as well, success can be measured by the amount of lives you positively impact. We're not just here to just be here. We're here to spread more love and more light. We really are.
I love it. This episode is sponsored by Dr. Tania King-Mohammad. She is the high ticket woman, the #1 best-selling author of the high ticket method, and one of the most sought after high ticket experts in the game. Basically, if you are an entrepreneur who is serious about scaling their business, you need to grab a copy of her book right now. Literally, I have read it and it is a game changer. It will blow your flipping mind. Tania is the mentor that the entrepreneurs call once they are finished playing small and are ready to start charging their worth. Working with Tania is all about creating consistent high-ticket sales and doing it in a way where you can create a freedom-level income without the constant hustle and grind like a lot of the other mentors bang on about. If you're listening to this show, you already know you're somebody that's meant for more and is willing to go and work for it. So basically, you need to get into Tania's world. Go and grab a copy of her book right now on Amazon and make sure you give her a cheeky little follow on Instagram. She is at Freedom with Tania and she's consistently giving strategies, tips and advice over there for free so you can start charging your worth and actually starting to believe in it. I just want to touch upon, because that idea of, you know, when you're the in thing, everybody wants to be around you.
Yeah.
And then to go to that, then, I mean, I presume suddenly management are no longer, you know, working with you. Those same people you were speaking to on a regular basis, those conversations just stop, right? Mm-hmm. And I guess they're people that you have a relationship with. Mm-hmm. Even though it's business, you still got a relationship with them. And I think that's really tough. And I think, again, we forget how young people are when they are in the music industry. I don't talk about this a lot, most people won't know, but I did audition for the X Factor.
You did.
I have not got a voice like you, just to put it out there anywhere near, but it was a really interesting experience because all I did was just the Wembley round, that first round. And I really noticed how everybody was really positive, really bigging you up, really lovely. And then the minute you get those no's and you leave, the same people are just like, oh, see you, bye. And I really felt, it was like, are you the same person? I don't think it's they're bad people, but it's the industry, right?
Yeah.
And I think for young people, I mean, it, you know, with what happened with Liam Payne, that obviously opened up a real conversation about the industry and the age. What's your thought? It sounds like generally you've had a good experience with the people you've worked with.
I think it's my optimistic outlook that won't allow me to just ponder too much on the negative.
Okay, yeah.
So what I'd say is everybody's disposable in the industry. I don't even like to utter those words because it's just so cruel.
Yeah.
But everybody's disposable, and if you can take yourself away from and look at it from a bird's eye view, it's this machine, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, whilst so much has changed today with the age of social media, and you don't necessarily need so much of the machine, and you can build your own support bases, your audiences off of your authentic music brand, you know, we're in a different age completely now.
You forget how much, like, there's so much good to social media for that, right?
Yeah, and you can protect yourself more now. But I think back then, so many artists weren't protected. Our mental health wasn't protected either. You know, if there was anything I'd encourage any new artists to do, it is to have the right people around you. People that are not just here for the now, people that want to see you have the longevity you deserve. People that are not just here to take from you. Yeah. And, you know, just to kind of go back to what you were saying about having certain people around me, then not having them, that was a real thing as well.
Yeah.
And whilst at the time, I didn't really get it and I took it personal, with time, what I could see is that they're also a pawn in the bigger game, you know, in the grand scheme of things. They're also replaceable as well. Right. And everybody is in this thing to try and get to where they need to get and also feed the families. But some people don't mind doing some real crooked stuff to get to where they're getting, and where there's people like myself that have a very pure heart. I'm just thinking, I'll see the best in everyone. But the reality of it is like, you know, that's just not what it is. Yeah. And this is why it's important to just find your people, your tribe of people, love them, and just do great.
I think I'm quite similar to you. Is I always try and see the best in people, and the reality is, some people will just do whatever they need to do to get where they need to be. And I think it's something I've learned definitely the hard way. I think there's been plenty of examples I could think of. But it's really hard when at the heart of you would never do those things. But I think that industry in particular attracts a lot of those types of people because it is seen as the glitz, the glamour, you know, the high life. Yeah. But that makes me really sad when I think of Liam Liam Payne, and I think coming, everything we've discussed there about being so young and being around those types of people so early, how easy it is to completely lose all perspective of reality and just be around people like you saying there, oh, you need to be on the river. No, you don't. But when everyone around you is encouraging that lifestyle and you're so young, it takes a very strong person to say, actually, I don't need the parties, the late night, whatever. When you're in your, like most people in their 20s are going to just lap that up.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know, what do you think there's still a lot to be done with the music industry in terms of supporting young people?
Yeah, I think there's a lot more education to be put in place. I think, before I went on the show, I was studying music. So we studied music business, and so the music business and the industry, there's a lot of differences. Music business is all the things that you need to know. And even still then, the business keeps changing because of the day and age that we're in. But making sure that you have your rights in place, things like PRS, things like PPL, things, just so many different things that you need to have in place as an artist, as a musician, as a creative. But I think the music industry is changing, and I would say I've been away from it for a while, intentionally, because I was never here for that. I was never here to go to all the industry snoozing events.
Yeah.
It's just not me. It's just not me. Point me to where the music's at. Point me to where the art's
Get
at.
the headphones on.
Yeah, I'll be right there.
Tell us about what it is you are doing now, because I know you've got a Museum Misha. Tell us what that is.
So Museum Misha really was birthed in lockdown. So navigating grief really births Museum Misha. Finding a way to make sense of the pain that I was feeling. 2020, my granddad, who I'd just met, which is my biological dad's father, passed away to COVID. Then my gran Henny, who is not actually my biological gran, but she was the person that showed me what love was. She was the one that nurtured me before I went on X Factor. She passed away, and so it's like my pillars just got swept from underneath me. Then the following year, my biological dad passed away, and so it was just like boom, 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 boom. And yeah, I think that was one of the toughest periods of my life, because I was navigating things that I couldn't articulate. And most people are like, well, you barely knew your dad, but not understanding what that flip side looks like as a child growing up, longing to know my dad. All the questions that get buried with him, that didn't get answered. The dreams and aspirations that me and him had together that didn't happen. Me getting married, not having him present. A lot of it gets buried when they die. And just navigating just the world of feelings that come with grief, and not just one person passing, 3 people that meant the world to me in their own little ways. The pain as well, because it wasn't always smooth sailing with my dad. In navigating all those things, one of the last things my dad said to me via text, because it was the pandemic, was when I sent him the pictures of my art, was stay in those colours. And what that has now become something I live by, because what that means to me is keep it alive, stay alive. And I've always been somebody that loves colour therapy and expresses myself through wearing different colours. And so much resonance, me doing art now, me finding joy in because my art's very colourful. And yeah, you didn't even know it in that short time we got to know each other. He gave me so much. So yeah, that's where Museum Misha was birthed out of. I think doing the art pieces and making the art pieces and the journey that the pieces took me on made me realize that this is bigger than me. And if I'm feeling like this, I'm sure there's other people out there that I can help by facilitating them through events that we put on, by art therapy, by shared spaces, you know, collective healing, that we can little by little make this world a brighter place.
Oh man. So tell us then, how do we get involved with this? Like, what does that look like in terms of if people are going, yes, I need this?
So you can follow us, well, on Instagram right now at Museum Misha. And whilst we are in the very early stages, we have events in the pipeline that are yet to be announced. We have our first event, which is a sound sip and paint. And whilst sip and paints are typical, ours is not. Ours is far from typical. So
Can't imagine that with you. I'm not getting that.
no, it's not. It's not. So the sound element is going to be heavily drummed into like sound healing. So I'm going to be leading the session. So I'm going to be doing some singing. We have our affirmation station where you can visit and, you know, you take your affirmations and just have that moment of stillness and, you know, just echo the whole thing. The whole event echoes wellness. So whilst certain aspects of the event are collective, there's also those moments for each person to have that individual time to reflect, you know, and also like be heard. It's the main thing is being seen and heard. So we have sound. We also have a DJ at the event, which is one of my longtime friends, which is, you know, amazing. Shout out to Sleeps. And we have a guided painting session. So this is the first event. And we have a lot more retreats, immersive exhibits, you know, multiple things. I wish I could be like, I'm doing this and we're doing that and we're doing.
It's all coming.
It's coming.
It's coming.
Yeah.
And it's all aligned with what the mission has been from day one,
Yeah,
right? Which is
yeah.
about having that impact.
Yeah.
And it being about serving people.
Service, above all things, service. You know, we have these gifts, and it's like what you're doing with this amazing podcast, this Success School.
Oh, thank you.
Honestly, no, for real. You know, you've had the successes and you've been able to achieve those things, and it doesn't just stop there. Now everybody else can tune in and
forward.
you know, that's at paying it forward. Have you watched the film?
No.
There's a film called Pay It
Yeah,
Forward.
I've heard of it. Is it good?
It literally is where it comes from. Pay it forward. So yeah, it's all about paying it forward. Something works for you.
Yeah.
It most likely will for somebody else.
And I believe you're also working on a book. I don't know how much you can say about this, but can you tell us that the book's happening? Or
Yeah, it's happening.
Okay.
It's happening. I've been working on my book for like the last 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah, because you know when you're diving into the details of life, it takes a lot out of you. Yeah. It really does. The book will be touching on topics of resilience, turning wounds into wisdom, pain into power, transformation, creativity, finding your voice, honoring your truth. Yeah.
You need to finish this book.
Yeah.
I'm ready to read it. Do we know when it's coming out? Have we got an idea?
I can't say yet. I can't say what it's coming. It's coming.
It's coming. Okay, this has been amazing. Thank you so much, Misha. And I genuinely can't wait to hear more about your events, about the book. If people don't already follow you, where do they need to go, check you out, and be the first to hear about the book?
So you can follow me Instagram. I am Misha_B. You can follow me on TikTok. I am Misha B_. And I am just about to start posting on YouTube a lot more in-depth stuff so you can really get to know me. So yeah, Spotify, Misha B. Run those views up. More music on the way.
Love it. And the final question I ask all my guests, and you've touched upon this, but I'd love to just hear like your full response to this. What is your personal definition of success?
My personal definition of success is inner peace. being able to positively impact other people's lives.
Beautiful. Misha, thank you.
Thank you.